Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, September 9th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The Alliance for European Albania, headed by Prime Minister Edi Rama, was present today in Diber at the closing of the electoral campaign for the majority's candidate for Diber's mayor. Prime Minister Rama praised the majority's candidate, saying that he will solve the problems of Diber's citizens and promised that he will reconstruct the Arbry Road. You have a candidate that will solve your problems. On Sunday, you can choose to turn Diber into a Democratic Party's branch or continue with Diber's Renaissance Road. Inevitably, reconstruction of Arbry Road is part of Diber's Renaissance. We have repaid the $720 million in debts we inherited from the previous government. If these debts were not there, we would have constructed the Arbry Road, declared the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister condemned the violence used against an administrator from an administrative unit in Diber and rejected claims that the government is favoring the south of Albania and preventing the north from receiving investments. The majority's candidate asked for support from Diber's citizens, declaring he has shown that he knows how to serve the citizens with dedication. The chairman of the Socialist Party parliamentary group praised the majority's candidate as the right person to be Diber's mayor, saying that the majority's candidate is present 24 hours a day in Diber and knows all the citizens' problems, contrasting that with the opposition's candidate living in Tirana and knows nothing about Diber's daily problems. Also, the chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration's parliamentary group asked Diber's citizens to believe in the majority's candidate and to vote for him. After the dismissal of Shukri Jalili, Diber's people will elect their new mayor on Sunday, with tomorrow being a day of electoral silence. The Popular Alliance for Work and Dignity closed its electoral campaign in Diber, where the Democratic Party chairman asked Diber's people to support the opposition's candidate for mayor of Diber. The DP chairman said that citizens have the opportunity to say no to a majority that is connected to crime and making a turning point for all Albanians. The opposition's allies and some of the former socialists who joined the Democratic Party 3 days ago were also part of the DP's closing meeting in Diber. There is poverty everywhere, and the political elite are to be blamed because they are stealing the people's money. There is insecurity for the future of Diber and all around Albania. There is unemployment everywhere. Corruption and bad governance are the cause. I see disappointment in all those who believed in this government but received nothing from it. This is the reality. They want Diber City Hall for their interests, declared the DP chairman, saying that the Prime Minister has forgotten about Diber's people and thinks only of his clients. The DP chairman said that the Prime Minister did nothing for Arbry Road and promised that he, as the future Prime Minister, will finish the road. I promise that I will do everything for Diber as the future Prime Minister. We will finish Diber's road together as we started it, said the DP chairman, adding that the opposition's candidate is the only alternative to solve the problems Diber and its people have. The opposition's candidate promised to undertake policies that will increase economy and guaranteed support for the needy, saying, "Thank you for your support. Your enthusiasm urges me to believe that together we can change Diber and make it as we all want it to be. Your support can change Diber's future, which is more important than political interests." 2 days before the September 11th elections for the mayor of Diber, the Central Election Commission has called on political parties to send their commissioners for training. The CEC chairwoman said that until yesterday, the interest of political commissioners to get trained has been very low. The CEC chairwoman also invited the organizations to register their counting observers at the Central Election Commission. At today's meeting, the CEC approved the international observers from the Embassy of the United States of America, the European Union, and the Swedish Embassy, who will closely monitor the electoral process in Diber. The Coalition of Local Observers publicized its report for the electoral process in Diber today, highlighting problems like the funding of political parties, failure to train voting center commissioners, and showing open support for only one candidate. The Coalition of Local Observers engaged 88 observers to monitor the process. The coalition members also engaged 30 internationally experienced observers to monitor elections in Diber. One coalition of local observers representatives said the coalition has accredited 15 long-term observers and 73 short-term observers to monitor the elections process. For the first time, the coalition will engage observers with international experience who will monitor, along with the local observers, any efforts of electoral corruption or other elements that may intimidate or violate Diber's citizens' free vote. We have called on Diber's citizens to be careful on Sunday and to not fall prey of an ugly form of manipulation or tension that politicians may create. The coalition of local observers urges the police and prosecution to fulfill their duties, they said. The coalition also publicized some of the problems it found during the electoral campaign. The appointment and training of voting center and counting center commissioners remains a problem. A high presence of political leaders during the electoral campaign has been noticed. Open declaration of governmental support for only one candidate and the declarations that the other candidate cannot do anything is open pressure and violates the electoral campaign. Engaging special groups to defend voters increases tension. Offensive words have been used during the electoral campaign, said the CLO rep. With 3 days left until the start of school, Tirana's prefect held a meeting with representatives of the Tirana police and the operator of energy distribution and water supply in order to avoid problems with road traffic, energy, and drinking water. Tirana's prefect asked for police presence at all educational institutions and made road axes in order to avoid heavy traffic. The prefect declared that educational institutions should be supplied with water and energy. He also asked the citizens to respect circulation rules and not to cause heavy traffic, especially on September 13th, the first day of school. Albania will take part in NATO's maritime operation, helping to manage the migratory flow in the Aegean Sea and contribute aid in addressing this problem. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Diber Bushati, attended the Security and Stability Conference, which took place in Rhodes. During his speech on the security challenges faced by the EU and the Western Balkan countries, Minister Bushati emphasized that the consequences of chaos in the south are going to Northwest Europe. Therefore, the refugee crisis and the joint fight against terrorism demonstrate the interdependence of the northern and southern shores of the Mediterranean. Foreign ministers of EU member countries, candidate countries, and Arab countries all attended the conference that took place over September 8th and 9th. The ministers emphasized the importance of respecting international obligations and human rights by providing assistance and international protection for refugees, strengthening security through efficient border management, fighting against organized crime, and supporting host communities and countries of transit. The Rhodes Conference hopes to establish an annual dialogue forum in order to build cooperation between the countries that face the migration flow. After Tirana, the ombudsman from 45 world countries visited the city of Berat. Representatives of Berat City shared the history and culture of this UNESCO-protected city, which has special architectural values. Albania's ombudsman said that his colleagues were impressed by the city of Berat. They are all excited about discovering such a city with this old history and tradition. They are surprised by the people's hospitality, by the wonderful view from the castle and the old church, declared Albania's ombudsman, who accompanied his colleagues. Marveled by Berat's history and culture, the ombudsman promised to return again as tourists. "You should be proud of your country. I will be back here to spend my holidays with my wife," said Namibia's ombudsman. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.